In Pokemon, all moves have a trait called accuracy, the percent chance that your move will hit. This can range from moves that never miss to moves that are basically shots in the dark. For a Nuzlocke challenge where any Pokemon that faints is sent to heaven, a missed attack can be the cause of that death. That's why hardcore Nuzlockers like myself value consistency over everything. So naturally, I decided to take all the consistency of Nuzlockes and throw it directly into the garbage by attempting a Nuzlocke where all 100% accurate moves are completely banned. Every move I use has a chance to miss, and oh boy, did they. Join me in my attempt of a Nuzlocke using only inaccurate moves. I start off the challenge by selecting the girl character and naming myself Miss. Immediately, I'm presented with a decision. Which starter do I choose? However, one of the three isn't even an option for me. Totodile starts with the moves Scratch and Leer, two moves with 100% accuracy. These moves are off limits for this challenge, so I wouldn't be able to make any progress. That leaves me with Chikorita and Cyndaquil, and I opt for Chikorita since he learns more inaccurate moves. That's right, Chikorita is so good here because it's so bad. Somewhat of a clown? Hey game, you said it, not me. Not only am I banned from using 100% accurate moves, but any move that can't miss, including moves like Synthesis and Reflect. I named Chikorita Golf, and he has a pretty solid starting moveset, including a powerful grass move and a move that inflicts poison. I learn how to catch a Pokemon, and now the Nuzlocke can begin. I opt for a nighttime encounter because I'm trying to catch Hoot Hoot. Bowling the Owl knows a few inaccurate moves, including the 60% accurate Hypnosis. I also catch 8-Ball the Spinarak, whose moveset highlights the real problem of this challenge. Having moves that miss is obviously not great, but with so many moves banned, so many Pokemon are left with awful movesets. Spinarak can't even do damage. So not only is my consistency terrible, but my move options are really limited. Thinking ahead to the first gym, I need to make sure I have at least one good option, cause it ain't Chikorita. By catching Karate the Rattata on Route 31, I can guarantee a Route 46 encounter of Geodude, who I name Bouldering. Rock-type moves have notoriously bad accuracy, making them absolutely perfect for this challenge. I also catch Baseball the Zubat, Free Solo the Ghastly, Skimboard the Wooper, and hatch Mareep from the Pokemon Egg, who I name Basketball. Mareep is normally a great option for the first gym, but all of its electric moves are 100% accurate, so it's not a good option here. You know what is a good option though? Subscribing to the channel. Nailed it. While you're subscribing below, let me know in the comments, which inaccurate move always messes you up? Mine is Blizzard. I cannot hit a Blizzard to save my life. Karate takes out Elder Lee in the Sprout Tower, and now it's time to take on the first gym leader, Faulkner. I start by sending out Golf the Chikorita, which may seem like an odd choice, but bear with me. First, I go for Poison Powder, which has a 75% chance of hitting. Pidgey's only damaging move is Tackle, which I easily take. Now I can switch into Free Solo the Ghastly. Pidgey only knows Sand Attack and Tackle, meaning it can't do any damage to ghost types. I can spam my only available move, Hypnosis, even though the poison prevents Pidgey from falling asleep. I'm just stalling as Pidgey dies to poison. Faulkner doesn't even bother healing up. He knows he has no shot here. Pidgey dies, and Faulkner sends out Pidgeotto, who can hit Free Solo with Gust. As a pivot, I switch into Bowling, getting crit with the incoming Gust. I figure I can go for a Hypnosis, and get the 60% chance. Now I can switch into my ace, Bouldering. I immediately miss a Rock Throw, but that's okay. Rock Throw does great damage, but not enough to kill. On the next turn, Pidgeotto wakes up and uses Roost, which not only heals him, but removes his flying type, causing Rock Throw to do way less damage. We do this dance for a bit, and the inaccuracy puts me behind. However, all of Pidgeotto's moves do nothing to me, so I'm very safe. Eventually, I get a crit to stop the back and forth, taking out the Pidgeotto and getting me the first badge. I'm learning that in this challenge, defensive Pokemon are really important, since a few missed attacks won't prevent you from staying in and soaking up hits. In the next few routes, I catch Volleyball the Sandshrew, Jump Rope the Hoppip, and Poker the Slowpoke. The team takes out the Rockets and Slowpoke well, and we can very quickly take on the second gym leader, Bugsy. Bugsy starts with Scyther, and I send out Free Solo. My plan was to tank a U-turn and then deal with Metapod or Kakuna, but Scyther actually goes for Leer, and then my Hypnosis hits. This gives me a free turn to switch into Bouldering. Scyther gets a first turn Wake Up, but just goes for Focus Energy. Rock Throw gets the 90% accuracy, and takes out Scyther in one hit. Both Kakuna and Metapod are complete jokes, and Bouldering cleans up the fight, getting us a very easy second badge. Bugsy absolutely threw here, and I appreciate the free win. Bouldering has been the clear MVP so far, even making the next rival fight a complete breeze. In the Ilex Forest, I catch a Caterpie, who I evolve into a Butterfree with the name Swimming. You probably think I should use that nickname on a water Pokemon, but the Butterfly Stroke and Freestyle are swimming categories, so I think it's the perfect nickname. At this point, any move with 95% accuracy has been the most accurate I can use. However, Butterfree has the ability Compound Eyes, which increases its accuracy by 30%. That means a move like Sleep Powder, which normally has an accuracy of 75, now has an accuracy of 97.5. Since it can miss, I'm allowed to use it, but these status moves with close to 100% accuracy are extremely clutch. Butterfree is the entire reason I'm playing Heart Gold instead of Soul Silver. Additionally, HMs are required to get through this game, and many of them, like Rock Smash, have 100% accuracy. For these HMs, I'm allowed to use them in the overworld, but not allowed to click them in battle. However, I am banning overworld TMs like Headbutt, because they are 100% accurate and they're not required to beat the game. So, no Headbutt encounters for me. On Route 34, my first encounter is Drowsy, which is amazing. Oh, but not because I like Drowsy. I mean, Drowsy sucks. No, this is amazing because an NPC in Goldenrod will trade his Machop for your Drowsy. Muscle the Machop joins the team. Although Muscle isn't a sport, so that kind of ruins the naming theme. It's basically bodybuilding. You're good, buddy. Welcome to the team. Muscle will be very helpful as we take on the third gym leader, Whitney. Whitney starts with Clefairy, and I send out Swimming to get that 97.5% accurate Sleep Powder. Then I switch to Karate, and Eagle Eye viewers will notice that Karate is poisoned. Rattata can have the ability Guts, which doubles attack if you have a status condition. Karate does have this ability, so before the fight, I poisoned Rattata with a Wild Paris. Karate now has double attack, and knows a powerful stab move in Hyper Fang. However, it's 90% accurate, and after Whitney heals up, I do get an unfortunate miss. I bring Swimming back in to put it to sleep, but it feels too risky to bring Karate back in. It still has to take poison damage every turn, so I decide to just stay in and use Tackle with Swimming. And this is a pretty good strategy. When Clefairy wakes up, I just put it back to sleep, and I can eventually take it out with Tackles. Whitney then sends out the milk monster herself, Miltank. Swimming being out is actually good here, but not because I want to put Miltank to sleep. I'm hoping that Miltank will see a kill with Rollout, locking it into the move as I bring in Bouldering. Unfortunately, it goes for Attract, which is only possible because both Swimming and Bouldering are male. Yeah, the homies betrayed me. Thankfully, you can switch out of Attraction, and I go to the female volleyball, so when I go back to Bouldering, I know Miltank won't use Attract. However, it is still faster, and I get immobilized by Love. On the next 3 turns, I get flinched from Stomp, then flinched from Stomp, and then immobilized by Love again. Finally, I get an attack off, but it doesn't do that much. I'm now in a very precarious situation. I switch into Skimboard to lower Miltank's speed with Mudshot, but Stomp just does so much damage. It's an enormous risk to stay in again. So it's time to bring in Muscle, who only knows one move, Focus Blast, which I taught to her via TM. Muscle survives the Stomp and hits a Focus Blast, which does a lot of damage but doesn't kill. Whitney then uses a Super Potion, and I'm in a really awkward position. Everyone on my team has a good chance of dying to Stomp. And because Miltank is so fast, my team members actually need to survive 2 hits. If I'm not careful, I will lose the entire run here. So I need to find my win condition. After analyzing my situation for a bit, I think I found it. First, I need to sacrifice Volleyball the Sandshrew. She's probably the least valuable member of the team since she doesn't learn a lot of inaccurate moves. The death gives me a safe switch in, and I go to Skimboard. The previous stomp did 25 damage, so it looks like a range to kill. However, the first stomp was clearly a high roll, and Skimboard gets off a mud shot, which critically lowers Miltank's speed. I have to sacrifice Skimboard too, but Miltank actually misses rollout, allowing me to get another mud shot in. It still makes the most sense to sacrifice Skimboard, but he did a great job. I now need to decide who to send out next. Geodude is still too slow, so it's not him, and Butterfree for Sleep Powder may seem like a good idea, but Miltank has a Lumberry, meaning it would immediately wake up and kill swimming. So I need to send out Karate or Muscle. Both Hyper Fang and Focus Blast should kill, so I go for Hyper Fang since it has better accuracy. Karate hits the Hyper Fang, taking out Miltank and giving us a victory. That was an extremely tough fight, so finding a way out with only 2 deaths is pretty good. In the next section, I catch a few more Pokemon, including hunting the Stantler. Many of these Pokemon have different ability options, and some of them are good, like an Azumarill with huge power. Some of them are bad though, like a Growlithe without Intimidate. Other Pokemon have a pretty poor moveset, and don't learn a single other move that misses. But other Pokemon, like Bull Riding the Miltank, will be extremely helpful. I easily defeat the dumbass in Burn Tower, but get absolutely dunked on by this random trainer. After missing 2 takedowns in a row, I get crit but thankfully survive. However, it turns out this Raticate knows Pursuit, so hunting the Stantler did not last very long. Before I go any further, I do a team evaluation and realize something crazy, something that shows just how limited my move options are. Currently, I only have 3 Pokemon that know a stab damaging move that isn't a normal type. Golf's Razor Leaf, Bouldering's Rock Moves, and Muscle's Focus Blast. Everyone else on the team only knows normal damaging moves or a few that know Rollout. It's absolutely wild how few options I truly have. At least my wide array of normal Pokemon will be helpful against the 4th gym leader, Morty. My ace for this fight is going to be Bull Riding, as she has the ability Scrappy. This allows her to hit Ghost Pokemon with normal moves, but they can't hit her. The best way for Miltank to take this fight is actually by using the move Tackle. This, in combination with the ghosts using Curse, would easily win the fight. However, the Miltank I caught was too high level and didn't know the move Tackle anymore. With no access to the move tutor right now, Tackle isn't an option. So instead, I have a much worse plan B. At the department store, I bought the TM for Hyper Beam, a move that has lower accuracy, forces you to recharge for a turn, and has less PP. Much less PP. I want to make sure I save some Hyper Beams, so I actually go for Rollout in the middle of this fight. This kills Haunter and continues hitting to 3-hit Gengar. I got very lucky with Hypnosis misses though. Rollout hits a 5th time, taking out the 2nd Haunter, and Bull Riding completely solos the 4th gym. In Olivine City, we meet Jasmine in the lighthouse and agree to help her sick Ampharos, although Amphi told me that he's not really sick. He's just quiet quitting. Switch jobs, Amphi. Maybe you'll get promoted to the actual team. Also in Olivine, I can get the Good Rod, which gives me a ton more water encounters, including Poliwag, Tentacool, Chinchou, and Krabby. Oh, and Gyarados, who will be very important in this run. Okay, now it's Chuck time. Normally, you can just abuse Focus Punch by hitting every move. However, with my inaccurate attacks, that strategy won't work here. Baseball knows Air Cutter now, a 95% accurate move that does a lot of damage against Primeape. However, it goes for Double Team and avoids the next Air Cutter. I'm perfectly safe to a Rock Slide, but not a second one. So to play it safe, I switch into Poker, who will help me with the devious strategy I created. Primeape goes for Rock Slide again, and I use the move Disable, which only has 85% accuracy, but hits here. Primeape can just Focus Punch now, and switching back to Baseball, I'm perfectly safe. One more Air Cutter takes out Primeape. Chuck only has 2 Pokemon, and the second is Poliwrath. Poliwrath sees a kill with Surf, so I switch into Basketball. Using a TM, I taught Basketball Thunder, which hits on the first try and takes out Poliwrath in 1 hit. Chuck is defeated, and after exiting the gym, I get the HM for Fly. Not only is this great for overworld use, but Fly has 95% accuracy, finally allowing me to teach all of my birds a stab flying move. In order to meet my level cap restrictions, I'm doing these few gyms out of order. And this brings me to Mahogany Town, where Team Rocket made this souvenir shop way more suspicious. Seriously, y'all could have just said it was closed. I helped to defeat the Rockets here, and catch one of the Electrodes as my encounter. I also catch Spikeball the Seal on Route 47. I also decide to go for Magmar in the Safari Zone, but the one I found ran away. So aside from Growlithe, my fire options are not very good. That's unfortunate as the next gym leader is Ice type. Well, that's true in theory, but in reality, his first Pokemon is a pure water type. So I send out Basketball. She outspeeds and hits Thunder, one-hit KOing Seal. Price smartly sends out Piloswine next, so I send out my Ice-type Spikeball. I can easily 1v1 here, so I decide to have a bit of fun. Spikeball knows Sheer Cold, a move that will automatically kill your opponent, but only has 30% accuracy. Look, if I'm doing a video about inaccurate moves, I'm gonna use one-hit KO attacks. I don't care. The first Sheer Cold misses, but the second Sheer Cold also misses. But the third Sheer Cold... Okay, this one actually hits. Piloswine dies to a bundle of tomfoolery. But for Dugong, there's an actual plan. The plan is to...
Don't click Sheer Cold, don't click Sheer Cold, don't click Sheer Cold, don't click Sheer
Don't
Cold,
click Sheer Cold. Alright, we can take on Jasmine right away, and she starts with Magnemite, and I send out Muscle. Muscle now knows the 80% accurate move Submission, which lands to take out the two Magnemites, but does a bit of recoil damage. Jasmine's final Pokemon is Steelix, whose low special defense entices me into clicking Focus Blast. It hits, but doesn't kill, and Steelix harshly lowers my defense. I'm now at extreme risk to Iron Tail, so I switch into Poker. Steelix's Iron Tail misses, but my Disable also misses. Now, for some reason, Steelix decides to go for Sandstorm, and this is the turn my Disable hits. So I've disabled a move Steelix wouldn't be clicking anyway. I try to stall out Disable, but Steelix is doing too much damage. So I switch into Shot Put, going for Supersonic and then Sonic Boom. Unfortunately, Sonic Boom doesn't kill, but I take the opportunity to switch back to Muscle as Jasmine heals up. I hit Focus Blast again, and Steelix is still confused, hitting itself in confusion and knocking itself out. I steal the 7th badge from Jasmine, and head back to Goldenrod to deal with more Rocket shenanigans. In the middle of this, though, I have to take on my rival, where something extremely infuriating happens. My rival sends out his Haunter, so I send out Bull Riding. Haunter confuses me, but this is why I brought another normal type. Haunter cuts its HP in half by using Curse, and I can avoid damage by just switching around. Haunter will just kill itself by using Curse again, so I don't care that it traps Karate in. However, when it uses Curse again, it doesn't die. I'm assuming this is because Haunter had an odd number HP, and Curse probably rounds down from 50%, meaning it's at 1 HP. Karate only knows normal moves, and it's stuck in battle, so there's nothing I can do except slowly watch my rat die. I've never seen anything like this before, but this is a PSA to everyone. An opposing Pokemon may be able to use Curse twice and not die. I was tilting so hard from this that later in the fight, I accidentally locked my Magneton into the fight because of its magnet pull ability. Due to my paralysis, I lost the 1v1 and lost 2 Pokemon on the rival fight. Thankfully, I defeated Team Rocket without further incident, so I can continue on my journey, catching a Phanpy along the way that I name Lacrosse. In Blackthorn City, I can take on the final gym leader, Claire. Her Dragon-type team is pretty scary, but she starts out with Gyarados, so I lead with Kickball. Kickball is a nice electric type as it learns the move Charge Beam. This is a 90% accurate move and hits here. It doesn't kill, but Gyarados misses Dragon Rage. On the next turn, I get a miss though, and Gyarados gets a hit. Kinda evens out here. Then Charge Beam hits, and Kickball takes out Gyarados. Now the challenge of this fight can actually begin. Claire sends out her first Dragonair, and I switch into my Gyarados Dragon Boat, although I get paralyzed on the switch in. Gyarados naturally learns the move Ice Fang, but it can't do enough damage to one-hit KO Dragonair. I take another Dragon Pulse and then get fully paralyzed. Dragon Boat is at risk of a crit now, and it's a really important Pokemon, so I switch into my other Ice type, Spike Ball. However, Spike Ball has to take 2 Dragon Pulses before it can knock out Dragonair. That's already a lot of damage taken. These are my only ice moves, so I stay in and take another Dragon Pulse, and hit back with an Icy Wind that does over 50%, but most importantly, Icy Wind also lowers Dragonair's speed. Spike Ball is now faster, but of course there's always a chance to miss. I don't have many other options, so I decide to risk it, and thankfully Icy Wind connects, taking out the Dragonair and bringing in Claire's final Pokemon, her terrifying Kingdra. I have 0 Dragon moves available to me, so I switch into Basketball. Dragon Pulse doesn't do too much, but the following Hydro Pump absolutely does. And then tragedy. Basketball misses Thunder, putting me in an extremely awkward position. I need to start doing some damage, so I bring in Jump Rope. He's on the team specifically for Kingdra, and one of the ways he can help is by using Leech Seed. This will passively take damage away from Kingdra. I need to switch to an attacker now, but I first bring in Dirt Biking. She's on the team specifically as a sacrifice, and gives me a safe switch to Dragon Boat. Dragon Boat is the only one who can tank a hit, and deal good damage back. But after Ice Fang doesn't freeze, I'm really not in that much better of a position. Just like in the Whitney fight, I need to find my win condition, and the one I decide on is by putting Kingdra to sleep. First, I need to sacrifice someone else, and I decide the next least valuable member is Dugong. This gives me a safe switch back to Jumpluff, who outspeeds Kingdra and puts it to sleep. Now I switch to Ampharos, and Kingdra doesn't wake up, still taking passive damage from Leech Seed. Ampharos is the only one who can kill from this range, but Kingdra wakes up, and then misses Hydro Pump. Basketball uses Thunder, which amazingly hits, taking out Kingdra and giving us the 8th badge. Again, we had 2 losses in this fight, but we saved all the important Pokemon. Finally, I defeat the Kimono Girls, then spend way too long getting lost in this tower just to run away from a legendary Pokemon. That was worth it. Then I work my way through Victory Road, completely forgetting about the final rival fight, where I lose bull riding to Curse. Honestly, this feels appropriate considering all the luck I had against Morty. Before leaving Victory Road, I catch a Rhyhorn that I name Archery. And now it's time to get ready for the Elite Four. Usually when I build teams for the Pokemon League, I have a specific plan, and sometimes need to adjust. Here, it's impossible to plan, since missing attacks is likely and would throw everything off. All I can do is pick good Pokemon with good movesets, have a general idea of what I'm gonna do, and pray for good luck. With a strong and diverse team set, let's see if I can defeat the Elite Four with only inaccurate moves. Our gauntlet begins with Will and his Psychic-type Pokemon. I actually have no Dark-type Pokemon or Dark moves, so I send Kickball out first. Electric moves work well against Xatu, and Thunder is on target to take it out. Will sends out Jinx, and though Electrode is fast and strong, it's very frail. So I switch into Dragon Boat as Jinx goes for Lovely Kiss. It hits, but that's actually preferable. Now I can switch in Dog Sled without risk of getting put to sleep, completely safe to the incoming Psychic. The 95% accurate Fire Fang hits, and with the Charcoal, it's enough to take out Jinx. Slowbro's out next, so it's back to Kickball. Slowbro increases her special defense by 2 stages, causing Thunder to not one-hit KO. Crucially, I do get paralysis though, as Slowbro goes for a non-impactful Curse. I get my first miss of the fight on the next Thunder, but thankfully Slowbro gets fully parried, and then the exact same turn plays out again. Pretty wild. The following Thunder hits, and Slowbro faints. 4th is Executor, and I switch in Poker, where Reflect shouldn't be too much of a problem. The bigger problem is Executor hitting Hypnosis. Thankfully, Psychic doesn't do too much, but I can't stay in forever. I wake up on the second possible turn though, and shake off my Blizzard Demons to kill Executor. Poker would be able to kill the final Xatu with Blizzard, but this one knows Ominous Wind, so I play it safe and switch to Kickball, and avoid the Ominous Wind thanks to Bright Powder. Thunder hits exactly when I need it to, taking out Xatu and giving me a fairly uncomplicated victory. Second, we take on Koga, who left his infamous wheezing at home. He starts with Ariados, so I send out Arcanine. Dog Sled outspeeds and hits Fire Fang to take out Ariados in one hit. Koga does me a solid by sending out Fortress next, and even though it has a crazy high defense, I go for Fire Fang over Heat Wave, since it has a higher accuracy and with the Charcoal can still kill. Third out is Muck, so I switch into my ground type, although I don't know any ground moves. Koga is preoccupied with making my accuracy even worse, but the first Stone Edge is on target, although it doesn't kill. My next Stone Edge misses, but Koga's really got a one-track mind here. Finally, I hit again, and the Black Sludge hasn't healed Muck enough to live another hit. Fourth is Venomoth, and though I could switch back to Dog Sled, I'm safe to stay in, but unfortunately get crit. Stone Edge hits and takes out Venomoth, but when Crobat comes out, the situation seems less than ideal. But according to my calcs, I'm always safe to a crit and or poison, since Archery is holding a Pecha Berry. Crobat goes for Double Team though, and Archery doesn't care at all, hitting his final Stone Edge to take out Crobat in one hit. Getting crits just for fun. That's a wrap on Koga, but I'm much more nervous to take on the next challenger, Bruno. He leads with Hitmontop, so I send out Baseball for the first time. Baseball will be taking advantage of the move Fly, and in this case hits the 95% accuracy. Thanks to the held Sharp Beak, this kills Hitmontop. Next out is Onix, who sees a kill with Rock Slide, so I switch into Poker, who's holding the Bright Powder to increase the chance of a miss. The best inaccurate water move that Slowbro can learn is actually Whirlpool, but it has the same accuracy as Blizzard, so I just go for that, because even with the special defense buff from Sandstorm, Blizzard is a one-hit KO. Next out is Hitmonchan, who I'm actually afraid of. It's definitely going for Thunder Punch here, so as a pivot, I switch to Kickball, and Thunder Punch does minimal damage. My goal is to get Crobat back in for a Fly one-hit KO, but the problem is Hitmonchan has an equal chance of using Ice Punch and Fire Punch. Fire Punch would be amazing, but Ice Punch would be devastating. Unfortunately, my team doesn't have anyone weak to fire moves, so there's no way to consistently bait Fire Punch. What I decide to do is switch to Gyarados for two reasons. First, Intimidate lowers Hitmonchan's attack, and second, I can scout out the move Hitmonchan is using. Gyarados is safe to both, and forces another Thunder Punch as I switch back to Electrode. Hitmonchan could still go for either here, but thanks to the attack drop, Crobat can live an Ice Punch now, so I switch over and luckily Hitmonchan goes for Fire Punch. However, it gets the 10% burn chance. Now Baseball can't kill with Fly, and will almost always have to take a Thunder or Ice Punch. Thankfully, both of these moves can be handled by Rhydon. Even the super effective Ice Punch doesn't do much. Archery takes another, and then lands a Hammer Arm to get Hitmonchan to low health. Because crits go through attack nerfs, Rhydon is now at risk. I know Bruno will heal here, so I take the opportunity to switch to Poker. Poker can take Thunder Punches like a champ, and Zen Headbutt hits and does a ton of damage. We get another Bright Powder miss, and can take out Hitmonchan with one more Zen Headbutt. Machamp is out next, and that's actually great. Poker actually moves first. Because Machamp went for the negative priority revenge, I'm totally safe to this move, but Machamp flinches anyway. One more Zen Headbutt takes out Machamp. Hitmonlee is last, and Poker is safe, so I stay in. Hitmonlee goes for Focus Energy, and Poker hits another Zen Headbutt to one-hit KO Hitmonlee and give us the third victory. The final Elite Four member is Karen, who specializes in Dark-type Pokemon. She begins with Umbreon, and I send out Archery. As expected, Umbreon wants to make things hard for me, but my team just isn't missing moves. Hammer Arm does over half, but Karen sees the opportunity to switch into her Ghost-type Gengar, nullifying my Hammer Arm. For Gengar, I switch into Dragon Boat, but I need to be very careful. I'm not able to one-hit KO here, and Gengar is faster and knows the move Destiny Bond. If that move is used and I kill Gengar, Dragon Boat will go down too. I'm not sure if the AI prioritizes healing or Destiny Bond, so I play it super safe, wasting a turn with Hyper Beam, but I guess the AI always heals. Gengar uses Spite, which is fine, and I go for Ice Fang, since a crit won't even kill and I have a freeze chance. I don't get it though, and I'm not sure if the AI will use Destiny Bond here either. So once again, I play it ultra safe, switching into my super fast Crobat. Karen doesn't go for Destiny Bond, and in my experience, if AI doesn't go for Destiny Bond at a certain health level, it won't suddenly start going for it. So even with the extra turn, I feel comfortable going for Fly, and Gengar doesn't go for Destiny Bond, allowing Fly to connect and take out Gengar. Next out is Houndoom, so I switch back to Dragon Boat. Houndoom goes for Nasty Plot, which makes things very awkward. All of my Pokemon are now at risk to a crit, so switching is not a good idea. If Dragon Boat gets crit or misses Aqua Tail, I could potentially wipe here. Houndoom goes for Nasty Plot, and Aqua Tail hits. If that had missed, I would almost certainly wipe here, but we continue on. Dragon Boat stays in to kill Murkrow with Ice Fang, and the half-health Umbreon goes down to Aqua Tail. Against Vileplume, Ice Fang does a good chunk of damage, and when Vileplume paralyzes me, I switch into Dog Sled to Fire Fang the Flower. The Elite Four is defeated, and honestly, I feel like I've gotten pretty lucky. Aside from that Aqua Tail, none of the misses would have been catastrophic, but still, I feel like I've been very accurate. Let's see if that can continue against the champion. Lance begins with Gyarados, so of course, I send out my Electric-type Kickball. Immediately, my accuracy regresses to the mean, and the retaliation from Waterfall does over 50% damage. I don't have another electric move on my team, so I can't really play around another miss. I go for Thunder again, and this time Kickball connects, taking out Gyarados in one hit. Lance now sends out one of his 3 Dragonites, but I can tell it's his ace because it's level 50. I don't really need Kickball for the rest of the fight, and since this is the last battle, I can play aggressively. By sacrificing Kickball, I lock Dragonite into Outrage. This gives me more information on how to proceed. I have 2 Pokemon with ice moves, and one is Dragon Boat. Dragon Boat can take the damage from Outrage, and thankfully lands an Ice Fang, getting an unnecessary crit to kill Dragonite. Aerodactyl is third, as it sees a kill with Thunderfang. This gives me a free switch into Archery, who takes Aerodactyl's moves well, but misses Stone Edge. I'm safe even at -1 defense, and this time Stone Edge hits, one-hit KOing Aerodactyl. Lance then sends out his second Dragonite, and I need to get back to an ice attacker, so I switch into Dog Sled, but only as a sacrifice, since it isn't useful in this fight. This gives me a safe switch to Poker, and even though Dragonite paralyzes me, I can hit Blizzard all the way through, landing the ×4 effective move to take it out. Now we see the third and final Dragonite. I get a Bright Powder miss, but then miss Blizzard too. I have to go for it again, but this time Thunder connects, knocking me all the way down to 4 HP. Blizzard connects and takes the Dragonite out. That was a crazy sequence of events. Finally, Lance sends out his Charizard, and at such low health and paralyzed, I let Poker get taken out. I send out Gyarados next, but literally only so it gets Intimidate off. Gyarados is very dead, but Charizard's attack drop is helpful for my actual counter Rhydon. Unfortunately, because of Aerodactyl's pressure ability, Archery only has 1 Stone Edge left. I go for it and get a Quick Claw proc and a hit. Stone Edge takes out Charizard, and thanks to a few key hits, we've completed a Hardcore Nuzlocke using only inaccurate moves. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, like the video so I know you guys want more. Also, definitely check out another challenge on screen now. And if you've made it this far in the video, I think you should probably subscribe to the channel. Okay, that's all I gotta say. Thank you so much for watching.